Okay, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I am Tom Goodwin, and this is Michelle Ronquillo.
Hi, everyone.
And the subject today is limitations.
Yes.
And we've been having technical problems, and we have had some limitations today, but so is life, and that's what you have to always be willing to deal with the fact that things are not going to happen exactly as you expect, and there are limitations to what will happen or what will be able to be achieved at the moment.
Yeah, and the boundaries also that are stopping you from the progress that you want or things in life that we're trying to do. And sometimes you hit a roadblock or you hit a detour. But that should not stop you. You need to know that these things are ways of trying to test you to see how much strength you have to push the limits and the boundaries of when there's roadblocks or when there's stops. Are you gonna deal with it, or are you gonna go another way? Are you gonna try to get over it? Those are the things in spiritual training that you'll be aware of in your everyday mundane life. Like, for instance, like Tom was saying, we were having technical difficulties getting this video on, but we kept enduring, we kept fighting a way to get it out there, to get our voice out there to you with this topic of limitations.
And there are limitations in the moment as to what you are capable of. And if you push certain limitations and you're not ready to deal with those limitations, your body hasn't developed the strength or capability yet, then it can be very stressful. You can have accidents. You can get very tired.
Yes.
And if you push it in the body's chemistry gets really messed up because you're pushing it beyond what your body's used to. You can get sickness. As a result, your immune system can get weakened.
Yes.
When you're training like me, the way I push my limits, with the dumbbell swing exercise now with my new running program where I do 3/4 of a mile all out, you have to know your limitations. You have to pay attention to the signs and figure out what you can safely get away with. If you go beyond what you can safely get away with, then you're in a sense going beyond the limits that are safe for you to go. Of safety for you. And you can go beyond limits of what's safe for you, and you can end up getting injured and hurt, and that's not necessarily a good result. So you have to, and one thing about knowing yourself and understanding yourself is understanding your own limitations as a unique individual. That
Yes.
Some people are good at math, some people are not so good at math, and you try to figure out how to get the most out of yourself, and you have to know what areas are more limiting and what areas are less limiting. And then if you're like me and you have a lot of limitations, but you have particular areas where you can really go a long ways with, then you're going to have a tendency to push certain limits that most other people aren't able to push.
Yeah, and you need to understand also that the belief in yourself to know your limits and understand the boundaries is that gut intuition telling you, because sometimes, like Tom said, people get sick even to the point of exhaustion, body exhaustion and stress. So know those things that are hurting your body. Know those things that fill your body up with positive, which heals your body, and then tap into the inner strengths of yourself to really look at the limitations and the boundaries of yourself, because we're all different and all unique and all have different levels that we can take ourselves, our body, our mind to.
And sometimes you can get really good at figuring out where your limits are if you keep testing them all the time, and testing them in a way that you don't hurt yourself. And a lot of times you have to, in order to know a limit there, you have to hit it really hard. And not everybody can push a limit really hard because you have to train yourself to be able to do that and not get hurt doing it. So people who regularly push their limit, that live on the edge, get good at sensing when they're getting close to the limit and how hard they can push. And sometimes you can push it really hard and you say, boom, that's a solid limit there.
Yeah.
But the reason I didn't get hurt was I'm really strong. So I hit that hard, but I'm strong from my training. So I got away with it. Now I have to figure out what do I need to do to get stronger so that I can have the power to push that obstacle or whatever further back.
And I'm sorry, Tom, go ahead.
And that's the thing about it is limitations are a lot of times movable, but they are resisted, but they if you get it strong enough, a lot of times you can push them further back. You just have to get the strength to push them. So it's like you're dealing with some kind of heavy object, and you go up against it and you push it, and you didn't quite have the strength to push it to it with a limit. But at a certain point, the object, if you have enough strength, you can move the object forward, and then in a sense you have overcome the limitations. Now you only be able to push it a certain distance, and then you can't push it any further, and then you have to say, well, I only can have a certain limitation to how much I can handle in the direction of moving that object.
Right, and I was going to add that time and patience to this with confidence is very important in this formula, because as you know, when you're standing still, sometimes you think you're not going anywhere when in fact you are. You're actually getting somewhere of your strength, you're building, and then it's revving up to this immense amount of strength and power within.
Yeah, a lot of times what you're going through in life is more like an exercise than getting results, and that you're trying all these different things, you're spinning your wheels, but you're learning in the process and you're getting stronger in the process. And when you finally get traction and you think that working, then all of a sudden you take off just like that.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready for opportunities, because opportunities can come at any time. And
not give up and not have this low pity party type of nothing ever goes right for me. No, you have to get your spiritual strength, get that confidence that you know that as you're building every day, you might not see results right away, but they are coming, and they'll come really quick.
And you have to understand that you have to have a perception of reality that understands that what you may perceive as limitations may not be true, that you have to have spiritual theories. I use theories that are beliefs that are movable. Yes. You have to have spiritual theories that are open to the fact that that things can happen, that amazing things can happen. In other words, you cannot be precluding certain possibilities because of limiting beliefs.
Because the spiritual is energy that is spontaneous. It combusts in all different ways that you can't even fathom. It's just like one of those things where you say, oh, I never saw that coming. Well, that is usually the spiritual, because you don't see it coming. You just need to be prepared for whatever it brings and know that you can handle whatever it brings in passion, in emotion, in mental clarity, in reality. But as you are a creator and you're creating things, these limitations that you keep pushing to yourself, just make sure it's not unhealthy, is that spontaneous combustion that will bring you blessings and bring you things that you never thought was possible.
But there are unique individuals out there that have limits that are different than other people, that can do amazing things.
Yes.
And those are the people that a lot of times are not paid attention to in society, because we have such a mindset that's so locked into the past. And until we improve that mindset so that we are taking into account reality in a deeper level, we won't be able to utilize the individuals that are really different.
Well, you got to give every ability and a chance and to expand yourself and where you're going and what we're doing in society. So before you can really say something is true or false for you, you have to experience it or feel it and have the emotions to even try to have the open-mindedness to a new opportunity, a new training program like Tom has created in a spiritual way of, I need my meditative walks. And you know what? I can't sit here on, this channel, Positive Vibes Enterprise, and sit here and say that if I hadn't have gone out there and literally experienced Tom's training, I couldn't sit here and tell you how much it has changed me. I need it. I love it. I evolve it for myself and I grow. But people out there that haven't tried it won't know until you try it. You know, the things and the processes of the perceptions of what we are trying to build and share with you need to be experienced by you, just like the examples of us.
Yeah, and that's the thing is don't have perceptions that think certain things are impossible without
That's right.
exploring to see if they are possible. Because with me, I'm amazed at what I can do. So in a sense, I can understand why people would think the things I'm doing is impossible. But the automobile is impossible. The airplane was impossible. Going to the moon was impossible.
Yeah.
And that is in science. But in the spiritual, we're still in the dark ages. We're not understanding that we can do amazing things in the spiritual.
Miracles follow miracles, and wonders shall never cease in the spiritual.
But we have to do the hard training.
You have to do the work.
Because you don't get it. And I mean, science had to do all kinds of work, and they have to go and learn all this stuff, all this hard training when it comes to higher education. Well, the spiritual, you have to do hard training, but it's more a type of training that affects you physically. Meditation
and
affects,
mentally.
it affects your whole being because
it affects you in a way that changes your perception for yourself. You know, you see the reaches beyond the limitations that even you set on yourself.
You've got to understand the spiritual is powered by emotions. And emotions are something that the body has to adjust to.
And you can do it. We all can do this.
In other words, there are hormones. We have a whole, pharmaceutical thing going on in our brain where we create all these, our own medications, drugs, or whatever. So it's amazing what can happen, but you have to adjust. You do not change overnight biologically. And so much of the spiritual is related to our biology, and we have to adjust our biology in order to become better spiritually. And it takes time.
It does. Like, I just started juicing. I'm in like my third day of juicing. And a lot of people tell me, you know, I couldn't juice. It was all that healthy stuff made my body so sick. And in reality, you have to ease into things. You have to go slow. You have to watch your limitations. You have to watch your boundaries of your own body before you push, into a healthy mode, especially if you're unhealthy and you're going too healthy. You have to go slow. You have to take the time. You have to be patient with yourself and your body and ease into it. And of course, we always recommend to go check out Dr.
Yeah, because a training program can take years and years and years because the body and the mind and the being has to adjust to it. It does not happen overnight. Things that are of value take time to develop and create. You can't do things with instant gratification. Doesn't work. It takes time.
Yeah.
It's effort and time and
confidence,
work and
endurance,
difficulty. Overcoming the challenges and the pain and the hardships that comes with overcoming
not wanting to reach for the numbness that we're used to actually face the pain and get the comforts and joy out of the spiritual blessings that it brings us.
And to me, it's not that difficult to be a spiritual pioneer and go into a new direction these days because this world has been so resistant to having anything new spiritually come into being.
Yeah.
We've been so locked into the past, it's like people tend to believe there's nothing ever new spiritually. That's what a common belief is. You just look to ancient wisdom or whatever, and that's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good enough. Ancient wisdom, when it came to science, wasn't good enough, so science had to develop new knowledge.
Now, we're not talking about ancient spiritual things that help us. No, we know that is included into the spiritual. We need all, like we say all the time, we need the support, we need the reassurance, and we need the love that is surrounding us, both spiritual and here physical. But we're talking about relying on the balance of your footwork, not relying on the mojo of something else doing the footwork for you. No, it's the mind, it's the body, it's the temple of you doing your footwork to create the unity and balance of the spiritual and what is surrounding you.
Well, there's a certain amount of basic wisdom that comes from the past.
Yes.
But you can build on it, you can improve on it.
Yes.
And that's what my whole focus is. In other words, don't get locked in.
Yes.
Try to take what is valuable from the past and then try to make something better out of it. Don't be locked into it. I'm glad we weren't locked into what was perceived as our understanding of the physical in the past. The science decided that you just couldn't mix weeds and certain things together and life would form, mud would form, instant what a creation or whatever, a genesis of life. Yes. In other words, we went beyond that, those ancient theories, and we developed, and that's what we can do with the spiritual. We can go beyond the mythology and develop logical, reasonable, practical things that will work in this reality that is so it's so much in need of improving. If you look at this world, you cannot say it's in very good shape spiritually. And don't blame God for the state this world is in. In other words, you blame the individual spirit that inhabits the earth. You have to blame us for the state the spiritual that we are in spiritually.
The changes come when we look at those limitations and the pioneers and people that know push the boundaries safely into the new spiritual upcoming.
And a lot of the time, when you get the pioneer, he goes out and he maps the area and he checks things out. But then the next pioneers come and they further develop the area. And a lot of times the next wave and the wave after is a lot better than the first pioneer coming out and their ability to handle the situation.
And that's what we're excited for.
In other words, I am only opening the door.
Yes.
There's people with all kinds of abilities and creativity and talent out there, and we need them to become part of our movement.
We want to see your amazing feats of spiritual experience.
So we want you to become part of Positive Vibes Enterprise. Yes. The only reason why I'm spearheading this is because that's what I have to do, because I'm the one that developed these new spiritual techniques, the astrology system, and the theories. Now, somebody has to, in a sense, get things started, but it's lonely, being all by yourself. And I'm better at working with other people, actually, than doing it alone. I only did it alone because I didn't see any other way. Everybody deserted me.
He's got a support group system now that breaks the old limitations into the new future of the spiritual movement. And we want you to subscribe, and we want to hear your voice. We want to see that that you're out there listening, and that you hear what we say, and that you feel what we say, and that you are going forward with the examples of your best abilities of being you.
Yeah, we're Positive Vibes Enterprise, and we really need people to explore us, check us out, and test us, and test what we have to offer, and see how it actually works, because I'm all about being tested. I have run races before as a runner and all, so I'm all about showing. That's what my whole focus has been. I have not been
actions speak louder than words.
In other words, I've had a real rough life, and I demand serious results for myself and for what I'm doing. So I'm not a person that just creates theories that feel good. I'm a person that develops theories that work because I need them to work.
Yes, and I have theories on gut intuitions. I'm psychic medium, was just a clairvoyant. Everybody has the ability to have empathy and be an empath, because that's the start of the spiritual understanding of even yourself, is when you can put yourself in other people's shoes and situations. But those theories as well are built in you, by you, through you, in the spiritual understanding of the reality-based sense of what Positive Vibe Enterprise is all about, physical and spiritual together.
And we have to we need to not have so many limitations as to what we think is possible on this planet Earth.
Yes.
We have to see that we can achieve a lot more, that we are capable a lot more, that we can control and direct our emotions and desires a lot better, and we can be more mature, and we can figure out how to become healthier and channel our energy in a more purposeful way.
Yes, and share and teach each other.
And that's what Positive Vibes Enterprise is all about.
Yes.
So the subject today has been limitations. And even though there are limitations, and you have to know the limitations, and you have to, get a sense for where they are and how hard they are, and how far you can push them and how much you can overcome. You cannot allow limitations to stop you from improving things and making this world a better place. You have to explore areas that you think are limited and aren't limited. So So I think we've covered that pretty well. We want you to subscribe to Positive Vibes Enterprise on YouTube.
Leave your thoughts.
We appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.
Bye.